Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and I want to talk about Makenzie De Armas's claim that she has created the first Dungeons & Dragons canon autistic character. All right, so Makenzie De Armas, real quick. Asian woman who is a Dungeons & Dragons designer. That's a big deal. The reason why is... historically, the tradition has been, terrible tradition, shouldn't be this way, for D&D designers to be white men, okay? And that tradition is strong today. The two game architects today are Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford, and, you know, like, while Hasbro is claiming to pursue progressiveness, there has never been a design lead or game architect for Dungeons & Dragons that has ever been anything but white male, right? So Makenzie De Armas is almost certainly on the short list to be the first woman, and she'll be the first, she'll be the first woman to be a design lead on Dungeons & Dragons if she's put into that position, and she would also be the first person not to be white. And so, yeah. All right. So I think Makenzie De Armas is on that short list. I like Makenzie De Armas. Hasbro has been creating an incredible amount of products over the last year. I think we got like 6 D&D Canon hardbacks in 2023 alone, in a year when arguably we might have got 1 or 2, because like the whole earth, cracked in half, and it started with the OGL, and and then went to the Pinkerton problem, and just huge problems. They actually increased distribution rate, right, at Hasbro. That's pretty astounding that they increased distribution rate in what is inarguably the most difficult year in their history, bar none, right? So, and worse than the Satanic Panic, far worse than the Satanic Panic, right? Literally, banks were coming for Dungeons & Dragons this year. It was bad. It was a bad year, right? So Makenzie De Armas, so she has helped them reach this incredible pace, and she's been working very hard and doing a lot of great design work. And I think she's a very good designer on Dungeons & Dragons, and I support her work right there. I think she's earned her position, and I think if she was made the D&D design lead, that would be great. I think that would be really good, and I actually think that they should push down Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford, make them senior designers, and make Makenzie De Armas immediately the design lead. So I support her, right? But she just claimed something that I'm going to contest, right? So Makenzie De Armas comes out and says, I have created the first D&D canonically autistic character. And she said, I did this in the book of many things. And that character is Asteria. She is a princess to a paladin story character. She's a female, and she has autistic characters that come right from me, right? And so I'm autistic, Makenzie De Armas, I'm autistic, and I gave her a whole bunch of my autistic attributes, and now the character is autistic, and she's D&D canon as an autistic character. Absolutely not. I think Makenzie De Armas is completely wrong, and the reason why is you can't claim it without the risk, right? So first of all, in the lore, in the D&D lore, nowhere does it declare that Asteria, who is partner to Uriel, who is this Medusa, and Asteria and Uriel together created the deck of many things. Okay, that is canon because it's in the D&D canon hardback, right? The issue we get here is Makenzie De Armas is claiming, saying, hey, I have created the first D&D canon autistic character. The problem is she took zero risk and actually did not achieve the thing she's claiming she achieved, right? So let's get all the way there for that. All right, so first of all, in order to have a D&D autistic character in Dungeons & Dragons, you have to say in the D&D canon hardback that she's autistic. At no point in the D&D canon hardback, and no point in the D&D lore is Asteria identified as autistic, right? That means you're claiming something, but you didn't take the risk to achieve it, right? Now, why am I bringing this up? Because this ain't my first rodeo. I've seen this, and you've seen it before. Where did we see this before? J.K. Rowling, right? So J.K. Rowling wrote 7 books with Dumbledore, right? And then after the 7th book, after the entire series was out, literally a decade after this thing's been, rolling, she's like, oh, Gandalf's LGBTQ. And the LGBTQ groups came out and said, we're not happy about this, and the reason why is, and gave her no end of trouble. And they were like, oh, you want to claim your woke badge now, but you didn't want your woke badge to dent a single sale, right? So you could have said from the gate that Gandalf was LGBTQ, right? And proved that in book 1. And the reality is your book would have said, and I think the reason why LGBTQ community was upset was they knew, actually, I think they had the premonition that if you produced a book read by elementary kids, junior high kids, and senior high kids with an LGBTQ character, you would sell to LGBTQ fans and to LGBTQ allies, and you would not fit, and that book would have never hit, and you would not have been able to sell that book to people who were not LGBTQ allies, right? And that would, and I'll tell you right now, Harry Potter would have, and I think the LGBTQ community was upset because they were like, oh, that book would have disappeared on the shelves and nobody would know J.K. Rowling's name, right? Like, she wouldn't be richer than the Queen of England, literally. That's not a joke. She was literally richer than the Queen of England at one point, right? That's pretty astounding, right? And actually, Queen of England has passed, so she's richer than the Queen of England right now. Like, so, because I don't think Britain has a Queen of England right now, because there's a consort, which is different. All right, interesting. All right, so so basically that's my and so people did not like this when when J.K. Rowling came for her woke badge and was like, hey, I get points for this. People were like, you don't get points for that, man. You didn't take the risk, right? And that's the issue. There would be risk if you put in a D&D autistic character. People would be, the first thing they would say is this is anachronistic, okay? And Makenzie De Armas is not dealing with that. She's not willing to take the risk to achieve what she's intending to achieve. She's claiming it, but hasn't taken the design risk, right? So in I don't think there was any ill will in this. I don't think she was trying to trick anyone. I think the reason that Makenzie De Armas is claiming she did something in D&D canon that she didn't actually achieve is that she doesn't understand Dungeons & Dragons canon. That's totally okay. I don't think there's anybody on the planet who understands Dungeons & Dragons canon except me, right? And maybe a handful of designers right now who are hacking the suits, And Dungeons & Dragons canon is outrageously complicated. It mixes directly into Magic the Gathering. There's a question mark on whether it mixes directly into every Funko Pop, every single world that's ever been built into Funko Pop, every single world that's ever been built into Yahtzee. What is the canon status of every single Lego world? Are they all D&D canon worlds? Good chance. We're determining that answer right now. So Makenzie De Armas is simply confused about something that's outrageously complicated, right? How do you establish something in Dungeons & Dragons canon? Makenzie De Armas did not do it right? She has not created the first D&D canon autistic character, in my humble opinion. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.